One.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Friday at 420. My name is Mike Naburrs, your host for the next 40 minutes right here on Facebook. Thank you so much for checking us out on this Friday. Beautiful day as we head into a weekend and getting ready for a long weekend. It doesn't get any better than that. So we're going to entertain you for a little bit. I hope you'll hang around. Spread the word. Don't forget to share this. Don't forget to go back and check out old episodes of Friday at 420. You can do that on any of the streaming services. We have a lot of great stuff in our catalog, our library of brilliant comedy pieces. And every show features a guest comedian, except this one. Sorry, we have a guest lined up. He hasn't been able to hook up with us yet, maybe a technical issue, but we're going to continue, and hopefully our guest will be able to join us before we run out of time. So right now, let me introduce the panel right away, right off the top. As usual, I'm going to go to my very dear close friend and mentor, Patrick Coppolino.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good.
You didn't know you were my mentor, did you?
No.
I hadn't revealed that to anybody.
Yeah, how not to live your life.
I love how you're living your life, man. Yeah. We were getting ready here, and I was talking, and I made a joke, but we were talking about family structure and how important that is. And I got to say, man, between you and Lindsay, Esther is living her best life, man. She's got two adults who are doting, who are looking after her, who are caring for her. That is what a kid needs in this world. So good on you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, that's all right. It was better when I did the joke.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick Coppolino, always nice to see you, my friend. And please, ladies and gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind welcoming our brand new co-host, Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil, everybody. Yes, a million. Yes. How are you, Dr. Evil?
I'm good. I'm here to make the world better this time.
You're going to make the world a better place just by doing this show?
What was that line? Or like when he wanted, what was the ransom?
$1 million.
$1 million. Yes.
And everybody laughed?
Yeah.
Because he was frozen for so long or something?
Yeah.
He thought $1 million was still a lot of money.
Yes. So he's holding the whole world ransom for $1 million. Yes. Actually, Manolis, when you held your pinky up, you really did look a little bit like Dr. Evil, did he?
Yeah.
That's yes. Yeah.
Do the voice.
$1 million.
$1 million.
That's it.
I can hear the music too.
Oh, Dr. Evil has joined us. Why, Manolis? Why? That's what Patrick and I were wondering. Why take your head down to the wood, brother? What was going on? What happened in your life that made sense?
I was just every day. It was getting dry, and it felt like a Brillo pad on my head. And normally at that point, I'd get a trim and clean it up. But then I'm like, there's nothing to do. Like, there's nowhere to go. I'm like, and my nephew had his clippers, so I got him to. So I figured like I'll get him to clip it, but I told him to leave stubble, and he kind of went. Yeah, I don't think didn't realize he was, and just buzzed me.
Not aware of what stubble is.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is cool.
Patrick, have you ever shaved your head right down?
Yeah, well, I do that all the time because I'm bald.
Well,
I can't grow my hair out anymore, so I just
So you as far down as you don't leave stubble.
Yeah,
you go as far as
right. I go all the way down. Yeah.
Okay.
Like this, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I've never had the guts to do it.
Really?
No.
I did it once before I was bald, like just to do it.
Did it prompt the balding?
No, I think it was the process had begun already, but I could still grow like a nice head of hair.
Yep.
Process.
Yeah, it had begun already, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It'll grow back, right?
So my question then would be, was there any fear at any time of what your head would look like? Like, I guess my fear always is, I don't know what the rest of my skull looks like. Like there could be an oblong kind of, right? A kind of a weird dent somewhere or something. Do you not have that concern before you do it for the first time?
Are you talking to me? Oh, I didn't know.
Either one of you.
I was worried about people will say like, oh, you got a nice round head. I'm like, I don't really even know if I do, but I remember Pat used to always tell me, be like when he was going through the turning bald situation slowly, but I'd be like, oh, I'm going bald. I'm like, I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I never did. I ever like, like who cares? You know?
Yeah.
It just he wears
But you,
hats.
but you also weren't, frequently running your fingers through his luxurious locks.
No, I would do stuff to his hair when he was sleeping, but
Yeah. Honestly, like going bald is at first it's like, well, when it happened to me, I started losing my hair when I was like literally like 19 or 20 is when it really was like noticeably going.
That's hard.
And that's young, right?
Yeah.
So but then there's a mixture of things. Like I think being a comedian, like you lose a lot of that
Vanity.
well, just like you're just not humiliated by or like embarrassed by stuff like that, right? So
Right,
like
yeah.
a lot of that went away, so it's just like who cares? But then also I gotta say, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, like Larry David is like a role model for bald people. Like the way he
Right.
just embraces his baldness. But then if you watch that show, it's referenced a lot how like just like there's like moments like if I like walk down the street, like and Manolis would do it now too, probably like with his shaved head. Like when I have like my head's just completely bald and I'm walking down the street and there's another bald guy, you like nod at each other on the street. Like it's there's
Like
a weird,
riding a
like,
motorcycle,
I get it, where,
you give him the wave. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're both bald. There's like a connection there.
Well, listen,
And
I don't want to, I don't want to rub it in anything, but wow, look at that. There,
Yeah.
that's the anti-bald right there.
you're like Eddie Vedder. You're Eddie Vedder's father.
Yeah. But Manolis, remember when I had to go to court and the judge?
Yeah, I remember this. I remember.
I had to go to court for it was just like a figuring out family stuff, right?
Mhm.
And as soon as I walked in, the judge, I had like a cleanly bald head and a beard, and I walk in, the judge like clean bald head and a beard, and I swear to God, we locked eyes and like we did a little nod when I came in the room, and I knew like from that moment, like he was awesome, like it was just,
Everything was gonna be okay.
yeah, and he was great, and he seemed like he was on my side the whole time, and I swear that had something to do with it.
I like that. I didn't know that was something. Well, obviously, I've never been bald, so I didn't know bald guys kind of had a little wink and a nod thing. Hey, buddy, you too. That's nice. It's like Jeep owners or whatever, right? Because everybody who
with the
drives a
chickens.
Jeep all have to wave or whatever. So, anyway, that's a wonderful thing. This is Friday at 4:20. Normally, we have a guest comic. Our guest comic has failed to surrender himself. Probably the evils of technology have gotten the better of him. So we're going to plunge ahead, guys. I've got 12 random topics in these 12 envelopes that I stole from my former employer. So let's get at it. It is just the Mike, Manolis, and Patrick version of Friday at 4:20 ahead of the long weekend. Maybe that's where our comic went. He was like, yeah, screw this, man. I'm taking the Friday too. Here we go. You know what? We're going to start with some advice for a young comic. We did this back in our early episodes. I used to try to cycle in some topics to get you guys to talk a little bit about what it's like being a stand-up comic, advice for young comics. I wanted to go back there just to see things have really changed. Certainly COVID. I mean, everything being shut down, not being able to perform for a while. So you guys give me any thoughts you have about people who are comics who are just getting going and then now they've been off for a year. I mean, what do you think it's going to be like when you get back? And I'll start with you, Manolis. What do you think that things are going to be like when we finally get back working again? And what would it be like to be a young comic, sort of almost starting over?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be starting over. I would just I would just take it show by show and just try to work off the rust. It's going to be a lot of it. I'm going to say it's going to be a good month for everybody, whether you've done it a little bit or a lot, to feel like, oh, we've already been through it once. So I was worried about this the first time, and I was like, holy shit, it all came back really quick. So I think if you're a comic, you're just a comic. What I will say is, like, for the younger comics, I don't know if this is just more something that annoys me too. Sometimes like comics will just get into the game and they're like that, they don't even have 6 months underneath their belt and they got their online presence persona
Yeah.
all dialed in.
Right.
Like, and they don't even have enough like substance to match what they're trying to do. Like, it's almost like I'm a brand and I'm like, here's my Instagram, here's this, and here's my,
Yeah,
like,
there's business cards.
yeah, there's too much. I'm like, just fucking like be a comic for a while. Be really get to the point where like where you're being asked to be on, you're asked to be an MC, you're asked to be a middle, you're asked to be on partner shows, and you're in the flow of things. But if you're not even in the loop really, but you're like, you're already trying to like, here's my website, here's this, here's that. It's like, dude, slow down, man. Get good.
Yeah.
Get really good.
Well, and get some stage time. I mean, ultimately, and that's the one thing that kind of puzzles me. And Patrick, I'm going to throw this one to you because, of course, you've been doing work, helping manage Levity and really running amateur nights for a long time, running shows, professional shows. So I'm just curious about the levels. So because everything is about the sort of Wednesday night, amateur night, 5 minutes, right? I mean, I get my 5 minutes, I get my 5 minutes, I get my 5 minutes. What's the next level from that? I mean, is it like you move to 10? Do you move to 20? Does it make sense to sort of go have an amateur night 1 week for guys who are real amateurs, brand new? And then if somebody has some substance, maybe have a night when everybody gets 10 minutes, or does that not work?
There is like a pro-am level of comedy, like when guys get to the point where they're not headlining yet, but they could do like a solid 20 minutes,
Right.
which would also qualify them to MC, which is a whole other thing too. But normally that's the next step after amateur night, is once you see like someone's got potential and stuff, then you give them a shot on like a weekend to do like a guest spot and maybe do 7 to 10 minutes and see how they do with like a real paying audience and on a busy night. And then I think the next level up would be middling, which is usually about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then eventually they move up to headlining. And I left MC out of that a bit just because I think Manolis would agree too. Like it's like Manolis MCs all the time, but he's a great MC. Like there's great comics, like Manolis will probably know this more just because like he's been with Yucks a lot longer, and like you've toured with headliners that have also MC'd, and you must see that. Like I think it's true that there's some fantastic headliners that can't MC properly.
But
if that makes sense,
to be an amazing headliner, I think if you have MC skills, you can be you're going to be the best headliner.
Yeah, because if you have material and the chops to do the crowd work, then it's even better. But
it's so, from the world of radio that I came from. I mean, there's lots of people who are really good at one part of it, especially with regard to a hosting or coming up with funny bits in between the songs and stuff. But just because you're really good at that doesn't mean you're really good, right? I mean, I remember guys who were hilarious on the radio who were terrible out live, like hosting events. And it's like, because that's a different skill set.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand what you're saying. And because Manolis's comedy tends to involve the audience, that's always going to lead you to be a better MC, right?
Yeah, he's more personable. Even like in a scenario like when we did the Legion tour.
I remember the show we did together. Yeah, it was awesome.
Out of the three of us, like when you, because you were there to MC ours, but when it was just the three of us, we didn't really have an MC. We each did the same amount of time.
Right.
But Manolis always went first because we figured out of the three of us, he's the most personable. Like he can break the ice the best with them. Since there won't be an MC as a buffer in between, it was better for him to go first and
those shows are crazy.
Get them going, and then he just set me and Jason up for runs. So
because that was funny because that one show we did in Hamilton, and so I agreed to come down and MC, and I didn't MC like a comedian MC. I didn't work the crowd at all. I just got up, told a couple of goofy jokes, and then introduced the comics. So, but then when Manolis got up, he kind of was the actual comedian MC because you didn't even do any comedy. You just worked the audience. You were like sitting on an old guy's lap, and it was like I don't remember you doing any of your bits.
I did a couple real at the end. I always think like as I go into these situations too, I always think that I'm not going to do any of that. I always think you're
going to do your standard.
Yeah, but then I realize right away I feel like I'm really good at feeling people's energy and vibes, and I'm like, oh, these guys, I gotta get these guys, I gotta make them loose. I feel they're not loose. They're just like, what the who the fuck?
That's why you're a good MC, because there's comics that only who have great material, but they only do their material, and if it's not working as an MC, they can't shift gears like that. They have nowhere else to go.
Here's the other interesting thing for emceeing, and I think the interesting thing for young comics, and particularly young comics who are just starting out and they're trying to feel like what it's like to do crowd work, but they got their 5 minutes or whatever. But I think you jump the gun too soon on that, right? Because if you have a solid 5 minutes that kills, it doesn't matter where you drop it, it doesn't matter what order it's in, it's always, then you're confident. Then you always know you've got, like, because Manolis, you always know you have a fallback. If you step out into the audience and it starts to go sideways, you know you've got some solid stuff that you can fall back on and win this crowd back over.
Right.
But if you're a young comedian just starting out and you don't know you have that backstop, then working the crowd is really dangerous.
Oh, it's scary. Even as an experienced comic, it's scary.
Yeah.
To do crowd work.
Crowd work's more like, even though like it usually works out for me, I'm more worried about the crowd work still.
Yeah.
And I'm still more confident. Like in my head, I'm like, well, I know these jokes, but when I do the crowd work, I'm like, I don't know. I always like, I don't know if this is gonna work out.
Yeah.
Well, then there's the danger too. If your crowd work doesn't work and they don't like you, then your material is going to fail too.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite, there was a time, I'm sure, and I know this, that he was a legend for the way he would work a crowd up into a frenzy. But as he got older, it got really sloppy, and that's Donnie Coy, man.
Yeah,
God bless his heart.
I knew you were gonna say Donnie Coy. I'm like, oh,
when I saw him when he owned the Yuck Yucks or was running the Yuck Yucks right downtown, and I mean he would get up and he would just lay the room to waste, and just picking on the people in the room, and he'd pick on you and you would laugh because it was so funny. And then later on, I saw him a couple times, and it was like he's just yelling lesbian at the crowd.
Yeah. We bring him to levity
Poor bastard.
a few times, and he would like it'd be kind of great, but at the same time like really fucked up and chaos.
But he's got like a checklist, remember, of all the like one after another. He's like racist Asian joke, anti-Semitic joke, homophobic joke, just one after, like in 5 minutes he hits everything you're not supposed to do anymore.
Bang. If he was in the States, he'd be on TMZ in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like he's like, and you're like going like, what are you doing? And people are like,
oh, God bless him, man.
And we're carrying him on. We have to carry him on stage because he can't walk up the step.
And then try to carry him off, and he doesn't want to go, and he doesn't.
Oh yeah,
go.
yeah. Oh yeah, he doesn't want to go. He's yelling at the comic while he's walking away because he's half pissed off Black Russians. And here's the thing: people have no idea. Like your point, neighbors. He in his day, man. There was no stop. He could have been famous. That guy.
He was the king of comedy in Hamilton and the Southern Ontario, and everybody knows him. And he, he was. I wish people could see him in his heyday. That people who've only seen him now don't understand. They're just not going to get it.
Well,
but when you go ahead,
sorry. But Norm Macdonald did a tweet, like he was doing like this tribute to Canadian comedy, like on Twitter. It was just like one tweet after another about different Canadian comics that in his mind were like legendary, and Donnie was one of them.
Oh yeah.
No one wore the hat. Right? No one wore that hat. Whatever, something like Donnie Coy.
Yeah, it's true. All right. A good little discussion there about stand-up comedy. You two, of course, are stand-up comedians. I am just a lowly old host here on Friday at 4:20. With a brand new topic. Are heading into a long weekend. It's just the three amigos here hanging out with you. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we'll continue along. We got another topic here for you guys. It's along the same lines, but I might as well get your take on it. I don't know. CNN has been running a special on Sunday nights all about it's kind of a deep dive on the late night show talk show hosts. Sort of the history of it, Carson, or even back before Carson, Steve Allen, up through to the modern day. And so they're doing a kind of a deep dive documentary on it. So I've been watching a bit of it. It's really fascinating. But I want to know from you guys' perspective, and you maybe haven't seen them all, but who do you think is sort of was the best, the epitome of the late night talk show host, the person that you glommed to the most? Maybe not the person who was the best, because you maybe haven't seen them all, but who was the one that you thought that, that was the late night talk show that I really loved watching? Patrick, go ahead.
I like all of them for different reasons, but I mean, Carson's the one, especially once you get into comedy, that's the one that you watched the most, and I think like that era of late night television was, I don't think there'll ever be anything like that again, right?
Yeah,
And like,
that was just about the only place you could even see a stand-up comedian.
yeah, but
right.
when you watch those old clips, it's like, it's, I don't know, like you see like interviews now, and like back then it seemed like such a special thing, right?
It
And
was,
like,
yeah.
you see guys like Frank Sinatra on there, like these
Everybody went on.
like massive stars, which I know like the biggest stars in the world do them today too, but it seems like it's just like every day there's just, it just doesn't seem like a big deal. And especially in comedy, like obviously we came up in the wrong era. Like we hear stories all the time about the days of, you know, you do 5 minutes on Carson, next thing you know, you've got a sitcom, you're a millionaire, you're set for life, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's how, literally how that happened. You get on Carson, you get a TV show, you're set for life. Like that happened to so many comics back then.
That's Joe Rogan now.
Now Joe Rogan's probably like the closest.
I used to love the part about the Carson experience was that you'd go out as a stand-up, right? And they'd mind the stand-up comedy clubs and try to find a guy, and that you'd have to be clean, right? You had 5 minutes that was clean, and it had to be suitable for a broad audience and stuff. But then you'd go out and you'd do your 5, and then if you were good, he'd invite you over to the couch, and then that was that was boom, baby, your career took off, right?
But I think the closest thing to that in terms of like as respected, and like I think people just really wanted to be on the show would have had to have been David Letterman. No. Yeah. But personally, I get the most joy from watching Conan O'Brien. I just
okay, all right.
I think he's like the silliest, like the funnest to watch.
That's cool.
I think Conan really likes helping comics too.
Yeah.
I always felt like at the time, like Letterman was kind of like the stand-up comics version of a talk show host. Like he had there was a little bit of a kind of a meanness under there that he could exploit if he needed to or whatever. So I'm Letterman was always my favorite by far. Mm-hmm. But I know Conan, especially when he came on and he was jerked around so much, and then he was given the Tonight Show, and then it was taken away from him. And I just thought once he got his own show and got away from all of that, that's when he really became fun. That's when he was so loose and sort of didn't give a shit anymore. And it was, and that's when the true Conan sort of came to the surface. So I totally get what you're saying there. Manoli, what do you think, buddy? I mean, you're old enough to remember actually staying up late to watch Carson.
Yeah, Carson. I like Carson in the way like he's my favorite in the sense of like when a joke didn't do well, he would he was king at making getting
sing on.
Like all that. I think Letterman. I think that's where Letterman got that right. But he would really and it was just something super likable and super charming about him, and even like what's weird about like because something about Jay Leno just kind of bugs me because I just think like his business, not only like him, but more his business side because of him just fucking around Conan and fucking around Dave. Like it seemed like he's just, I guess you're supposed to be out for yourself, but at some point there's some sort of, I don't know. I feel like Dave just has integrity where Leno's like, fuck integrity. I want that show. You know what I mean? But like, the one thing that bugs me about, there's one thing that actually bugs me about Johnny was that I know he helped Joan Rivers a lot, and then there was like, I'm pretty sure the story's true where Joan Rivers did her own show, and I guess I don't know. I guess he didn't talk to.
He blackballed her. Yeah,
and never talked to her.
But before she did her own show, he had already decided that there was no way she was like she guest hosted more than anybody. And because Carson was away all the time and they didn't even do reruns, right? They bring guest hosts in and she did it all the time. She killed at it.
And Leno did it too.
Oh, lots of people did, but nobody more often than Joan. But they had already indicated to her, you're never getting the show because there's no way we're putting a woman in charge.
And it is really, I don't know.
It's crappy, man.
It's, I'm not going to say it bums me out but it's like, it's just like, she's I don't know. She's not my favorite, but she's kind of a rad chick. You know what I mean? And you're like, fine, you're not going to I'm not going to get this show, but you're also going to like be like that. Yeah. Like
you talk about crowd work. I mean, the thing about Joan Rivers was she was so fast off the top, like right there. She would come at you right away. Nothing prepared, nothing planned. She would gut you like a fish, man.
Yeah. But then in a weird way, didn't that help Canadian comics?
Yeah,
Like,
like Breslin got involved with Joan Rivers somehow and got Canadian comics.
on
Because
her
yeah,
show.
that's
Oh,
how
okay.
bad it was. If you I forgot about this. If
Yeah.
you did her show, that
You
you
couldn't
were
go on
also
Carson.
black. Yeah, you were blackballed from Carson as an American comic.
Crazy, man.
So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So and
That's
then Breslin
crazy.
kind of, but like that's what bothers me is like Joan Rivers is like you're Johnny Carson, you're rich, you're famous, you'll never spend all this money, and you're like fuck you,
Yeah.
fuck you, like you can't like go like, you know what, yeah, Joan, there's more and more, there's room
Yeah.
for everybody, like it just that's
Yeah.
what makes me go like, Johnny, dude, I thought you were a dude, man.
Who
But
was
again,
your?
I think it's an era thing, right? Because like at the
Sure it
time,
is.
he was the only, like you said, like he was the only late night talk show. So
He was
that-
the king, right?
Yeah,
And-
but
and you don't mess with the king. And the only way the king stays the king is if he crucifies you if you
Well,
mess
yeah,
with the king.
Because back then it was literally if one more show was your biggest competition.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But who cares? Like at that point, like like just go, okay, Joan, can you just go at 11 and I'll go at 10? Like you're what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like that's like your ego is, you're telling me you're just that attached to your fucking ego that you can't, there's no wiggle room? There's zero wiggle room? Like where are you fucking? But I do want to say one thing. Letterman, man. One thing I will say about Letterman. I just feel like that guy got so much integrity. Like there's this. You ever see Mike? You ever see Letterman when there's like the ones from the early '80s where like I forget who it is, but I watched two things. I remember I watched what's Man on the Moon.
Andy Kaufman,
I saw that on TV
like when it was live.
when it was live.
Like
when
when
he
it aired
Okay,
the
yeah.
first time.
he faked the wrestling thing
Yes.
with the wrestler. I
Yeah.
thought that was fucking real,
Yeah.
right? But like
That was crazy.
But he had a guest one time that was fucking that was just being a dick, and he
But
wasn't
tried to kick him in the head.
I don't know if he did.
Yes,
He was.
tried to.
No,
he
not
didn't,
that
he didn't
guy.
kick him in the head.
Was
Well,
it
I remember
Crispin
that.
Glover? Crispin Glover?
Yes. And he went up and he like faked a kick to to Dave's head, and Dave was like, "This thing
Was
is
it when
over,
Dave
man."
they went to break and they came back and he was gone?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, Manolis?
No, I know, I remember that. No, that was funny. No, but I'm talking about there's this guy that was like seemed out of it, and he wasn't answering the questions. But Dave was able to make fun of the situation and like just do weird shit.
Is it
because the
Joaquin
guy-
Phoenix?
No, it was no, not that. No, it was like in the '80s. I don't even know who the guy was.
Okay.
But it was hilarious. I remember this is hilarious. The guy was like the guy was actually, I could tell he's probably a little pissed because Dave was still killing because he wasn't giving him anything to work with. But there's no one at the end of the day. There's no one fucking cooler than Dave, man.
Very good. Good answers to that very trying question. Who's the greatest late night talk show host ever? This is Friday at 4:20. Manolis, Patrick, and Mike Naburrs along with you for 40 minutes, heading into a long weekend. Beautiful sunshine outside. What the hell are you doing inside watching Facebook? Come on. We appreciate you doing that, though. And don't forget, you can always check out our previous episodes on any of the streaming services. Just search Friday at 4:20 and they'll pop up. And most of them with guests. All right, here we go, boys. New topic on Friday at 4:20: window or aisle seat. Window or aisle seats. We're going to go with Manolis first because we went with you first last time, Patrick.
Window or aisle seat. I'm gonna honestly.
You've flown on lots of planes, man.
Yeah.
Which is better?
I prefer aisle seat.
Aisle?
Aisle.
And,
Yeah.
and why is that? Is it
Because-
you really like getting knocked in the knees by the bar cart?
I just really, I just
love
want.
that move.
It's that, you know what it is, man? Because it's like that if you're in the window, if it's a long flight, you always feel like an asshole when you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and you got to disturb everybody.
But yeah,
and-
but the only thing you know what I hate about flying too, man. I don't know. Tell me if you guys have this problem. It's like whenever if I'm on a plane and I'm like say window or aisle seat and I do go to the washroom and I gotta take a shit. I find it so hard to shit in the sky. Like I'll have to take a shit and I'm like I feel like I'm really like I have to really work at it. Get out. Is it the air pressure that's making my log want to stay in my intestines? Like it's killing me, man. Do you ever have this
You have
problem?
the benefit. Gravity is not as strong up there. You don't have the benefit of the gravity pulling down on it.
I remember when I was like a teenager, man. If I had to take a shit, I was like, remember like being like 9 or 10 years old, being in Greece. I just swim out in the ocean, just pop a couple out, fucking come back. Right? It's the ocean, man. But like, you know, like you're in your 20s, you're like, you look like you look like you're getting raped in the water somehow. Like you're like, ah, it's not coming out anymore.
Let me just tell you just very quickly, and then we'll get to Patrick's answer. But I just got to share with you this funny. It was just shared with me the other day. So you know the building where the radio station was, where we started this show, and where we don't do it from anymore. So I guess somebody, the bathrooms up on the 4th floor there are kind of in the public access area, right? So somebody went into the bathroom and they actually dropped a deuce in the urinal.
No.
Yes. And then I don't know if the constant flushing, something happened. Anyway, it kept flushing and it was clogged and it flooded the entire building. Water was pouring down 4th floor.
Ooh, poo water.
Who would do that?
Because the urinal probably has a sensor, right? And the poo just setting it off.
And it just kept, I was like, why? Why? Anyway.
I like how you're saying it like you didn't do it, Mike.
There is no proof. Nobody has proof. All right, Patrick. Window or aisle seat? Window or aisle seat?
Well, when I first started flying a lot, I would always prefer the aisle for that reason. Like I didn't want to, if I had to use the bathroom, didn't want it to go past anyone, and it just feels nicer to have that extra space on at least one side of you.
Yep.
But the more flights I had, the easier it was for me to sleep on planes. And then now I got to the point where like I could sit on a plane, fall asleep before we take off. So I prefer the window for that reason. I like getting tucked in the corner right by the window. I like usually have some form of pillow, like those neck things on the planes, or even just like a balled up sweater or something. Make a little pillow, rest it on the thing. Because you know how many times I've been stuck in the middle seat before, and I've fallen asleep, and I wake up. You know when you do those weird wake up things?
Yes.
Like you're dreaming that you fell or something. I've done that on planes, or like I realize I'm like leaning on the person beside me.
Oh yeah, drool.
Yeah, which could also happen in the aisle. So yeah, I prefer the window every time if I can take it.
All right, I just speaking as somebody who's 6'5". I can only sit on the aisle. I can't fold myself up enough to sit next to the window. I need to stretch them out, man, and hence getting whacked in the knee by the cart coming through. It happens over and over again. So I'm an aisle guy. That's it. All right, Friday at 4:20. Patrick and Manolis hanging out with you. Glad you're with us. Yes, that's Dr. Evil up there. He's the bald guy.
Cedric said he said he's still at work. I said we'll do another week, and he said call me. I'm like, I don't know.
No.
Like, and what?
We want a proper 40-minute episode with Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah.
Cedric the Entertainer, right? That's who it was who was coming on?
Yeah,
that was excellent. Okay, I look forward to that. That'll be a good show. All right, here we go. One more terrific topic here. We got a few minutes left. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? There's some. When I ask this, only because some people feel very strongly one way or another about this, and I know, for instance, Patrick won't really care, but everybody else seems to have a very strong opinion. Patrick, you are the chef among us. You love to cook. Would you put a pineapple on the pizza?
Yeah. Like you said, I don't. As long as pizza's got food on it, it's good.
It doesn't matter
pineapple
what.
on pizza's fine. Like I like.
Are there any toppings that you're like, no, that just?
Well, here's the thing. I usually don't like mushrooms. I think the smell of mushrooms being cooked is the most disgusting smell in the world.
Wow,
okay. I love mushrooms.
Yeah. Nobody loves mushrooms
and
like
I won't
Manolis.
choose to eat. Yeah, but like But the thing is, if there's mushrooms on a pizza, that's like I'll eat it.
Okay, that won't throw you.
Doesn't even remotely bother me. Yeah,
right. The thing I like about the pineapple is the sweetness. I'm a sweet guy.
Yeah.
I love sweet, and I love that little bit of sweet on a pizza. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, but the Hawaiian pizza, like the pineapple ham combo, is awesome on pizza.
Do you guys know where the very first place that ever put pineapple
Canada,
on pizza?
Right?
Yeah, it was in Canada.
PEI or something?
Chatham, Ontario.
Oh, Chatham, Ontario.
Yeah,
How do we know that?
The
Yeah.
guy that invented it died like in the last couple
Yeah.
of years. Didn't he?
Yeah.
What do you mean putting pineapple on a pizza?
Yeah.
How
How's that?
First
how's that
pizza place to
documented?
ever do it. First pizza place to ever do it.
But how's that even documented? How do
Well,
we
because
have-
they had the signs. They celebrated it. It was like the first place you could ever get pineapple. Everybody was like, "What? No, you can't do that."
Yeah,
And
like
then-
someone might have done it at home or something before, but he's probably
Right,
the first one to
right.
like
First
make it
pizzeria.
commercial. Yeah.
He invented the Hawaiian pizza as it became known, right? Manoli, you yay or nay to the pineapple on the pizza?
Oh, I love pineapple on pizza. I don't mind, like when I order pizza with friends, I'm that guy. I'm like, I don't care. I just don't like hot peppers. That's about it. But pineapple, I like pineapple. I like mushrooms, obviously.
Anchovies?
No anchovies.
No,
That's-
no
no
anchovies.
anchovies.
You could do
but-
anchovies though, couldn't you, Patrick?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. It's not one of your favorites.
I don't love no, they're too salty.
They kind of overpower the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Houston, and there was this. I went to this pizza place around the corner from the comedy club that I was performing at, and I'm like, it was just a pizza place, and I couldn't believe how busy it was. It had a big area to sit in too, and I'm like, what's so? I'm like, I don't understand. And I get the pizza, and before he gives it to me, this dude gets a blowtorch and blowtorches the top of the pizza. I swear to God, and then gives it to me, and I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't believe how much better it was, to the point where I'm like, I want to buy a blowtorch and just do it at my house.
Yeah.
All your food.
Everything, man. A blowtorch.
Well, that would be
everything.
cool, right? Because especially with the mozzarella, when mozzarella bubbles up and then turns brown, it gets crusty brown. I think that's when it's the best.
Hmm.
And so just blowtorch that thing, right? Crusty brown that mozzarella.
Dude, I was gonna just get a welding kit, just start welding at the top of it. I'm like, what the hell? This is amazing.
Yeah.
What have you guys ever had egg on your pizza? In Australia, it's very popular to put eggs on pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, when I was like when I just got into cooking and stuff, I was doing like breakfast versions of everything, and I did do a breakfast pizza with like a fried egg on it.
Okay, and how was it?
It's not bad.
That'd be good.
Eggs another thing that's like surprisingly good in a lot of stuff.
Oh, you can put eggs in just about everything.
Yeah. Soup.
Even like, right? I mean, like chicken fried rice, and then you whip up a couple of eggs in the chicken fried rice.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, eggs always fun. I love eggs.
Oh, well, that's good, man. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that bit. Hey, we got time for one more.
Let's
One
do it.
more,
do
and then
it.
we got to get everybody off to the long weekend, man. Everybody's been dying for a long weekend. You know why? I think
What's
too.
the holiday?
It's Victoria Day, brother.
Oh,
it's-
right. May
It's a
2
Victoria
for.
Day. Yeah, May 2 for Victoria Day.
When?
Queen Victoria. We celebrate
weekend.
the
What do you
birth of
mean, what
Queen
day?
Victoria. Monday.
Huh.
Holiday Monday. It's Holiday Monday for Queen Victoria.
Yeah,
You
May
remember Queen
24th.
Victoria, don't you?
I met her once.
The Victorian era was named for her.
Yeah. She's married to what's his name? The soccer player.
Pele. No.
Well, with the
uh,
David
Spice Girl?
Beckham?
David Beckham.
David
yeah.
Beckham. Yes.
I thought you were married to David Beckham's wife. Was it Victoria?
Yeah, that's
Victoria.
Queen Victoria, isn't it?
Queen Victoria Beckham. All right. Okay, no, I can't use this topic.
Wait, is her
I-
name not Victoria?
Yes, it is.
No,
Victoria
I
Beckham.
think she's no, I think it's Posh.
Yeah, she was Posh Spice. You're right.
Yeah.
Because she's like Queen Victoria.
What
So
was-
I was going to say about the long weekend. I think people are probably just dying to be able to spend 3 whole days at their house. I think that'd be just right. I mean, you get some time off work and you spend 3 days at home. It'll be great.
I can't wait for 3 days at home off work.
Patrick won't know he has Monday off.
I have no idea what day it is.
No idea what day it even is. All right, here we go. Our last topic on Friday at 4:20 with Manolis and Patrick. I'm going to give you 3 potential answers to this question. And I want to know which one you choose. Your preferred writing utensil. Is it a pencil, a pen, or a marker? I didn't say crayons, but that could be construed as a writing utensil as well. What would you prefer? If you have to, I realize we use computers now, nobody writes it, but if you had to jot down a note or write or whatever on a piece of paper, what would you rather use? A pencil, a pen, a marker, or a crayon?
Who's first?
If I was in grade 1, I would say I'd say a pencil and then a marker, because I remember in grade 1, I had I was smelling markers a lot, and I remember like I had to stop because I was like, my teacher didn't care about me, and she wasn't giving me any kind of like, hey, can't do that. I remember going, oh, I knew this was probably bad for me. So
Damaging your brain. Yep.
Yeah, I probably did too much of it before I stopped, but the pencils are like in grade 1, they're a time killer. Like you're like, you don't want to work, you just go keep going. Like I got my pencil's dull from all the work that I haven't been doing. And you get that number 2, like that pencil that looked like a quarter. It was so thick. You're like grinding it down like some like carpenter made this giant pencil for you, and you're like, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm gonna grind this all down because I don't like reading. And so you just keep going.
It's a great way to kill time, eh, brother?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pencil sharpener. You just. Yeah. And then remember, teacher, you ever do this, Mike? And you're doing it, and you always push it too far, and you're like, teacher's like, Manolis. It's like your pencil's sharpened. You've been up there for 45 minutes. Get the fuck back to the desk.
It's sharpened, dude.
And then like the pen. I like to use a pen. I like a blue pen. Blue pen.
A blue pen. Any particular, just a regular ballpoint or a fine tip or anything like that? Just a regular blue pen. Just look at that. It's even the whole thing is blue. Just so you know what color.
Blue. I like a blue pen. Blue. Yeah. I like blue on.
The ink is red, but he likes the blue pen.
I like the blue pen. I like a blue. Actually, I like blue ink and a blue pen. You're right. I like blue. So I was like, give me a blue something. But I like.
Where do you write your jokes? If you're hanging out, you're sitting there, you come up with something. You go, man, this might be a funny bit. Where do you write them down in a like with a pen in a pad somewhere? Or
I do both.
Type them into your phone, or
I do both. Phone and eventually get on the pad and the phone. I back everything up back and forth. But if you look at my Pat knows, if you read any of my notepads, it's like you think I'm just a slow dyslexic.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I would never have to worry about anybody reading. Like, oh, well, someone's gonna steal all my jokes. Like, what is this hieroglyphics? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Manolis drops a letter about every 3 letters writing a word. So, and it's not because he's trying to do a short form. It's because that's how he thinks it's spelled.
Yeah. I'm the worst, dude.
Do you flesh the whole bit out? Or do you just sort of, it's just a line, it's just, dolphins, whatever, or do you like actually write out, how you would do it on stage?
Most time I just I write the idea and then work it on stage. Or sometimes I write the whole thing out. Okay. It's definitely harder when you write the whole thing out then, because now you're trying to memorize what you did. Or if you just kind of go up with the idea.
Yeah.
But like going up with the idea usually like a lot of times doesn't work as much as you want because you're really just being lazy.
Yeah, you miss details.
Right. And particularly back to our very first topic on this show for young comics, write the whole damn thing out. I mean, really see where this thing's going. See how you're, edit it and sculpt it down so that you're not wasting a lot of time trying to get somewhere, right?
And just don't be a dick and just don't think you're better than everybody else. Jesus Christ, everybody.
Advice for young comics: don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. And
Patrick, your favorite writing utensil? Is it a pencil, a pen, or a marker?
Yeah, I think after elementary school, the margin for error has narrowed quite a bit, so the pencil becomes a little obsolete, right?
Yes.
The only reason to use a pencil is if you think you're going to make a bunch of mistakes and you got to fix it.
Yeah.
But pencils are too much maintenance. Like Esther's been doing her homeschooling, so like we set up a little desk and she's got all that stuff, and I sharpened a pencil for the first time in like 20 years. When I sharpened.
And those little hand sharpeners suck.
But like it was like that feeling. I forgot what that was like. It brought back memories to being a kid. Like when you feel the like it being peeled off. Yeah, like it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, no, it is.
But
cool.
if I had to do that and make sure it's sharp all the time, or if it snaps or something, that's annoying. So pen for sure, but and only because markers are usually they take up too much space. You can't write.
Right.
Like
although with markers, and I was thinking in markers, the kind of the fine tipped ones, I really like a fine tip marker.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
Like the really kind of almost like a pencil, but it leaves a nice black ink behind. That's cool. My favorite.
Yeah. But writing with a Sharpie feels cool though.
It does.
If you're just writing something big, I had to make signs all the time for levity if we had to put something on the patio or the front door, and writing with a Sharpie.
Oh yeah. Sharpies are gold, bro. And you can get a gold Sharpie if you want.
Yeah, we have those.
Favorite ink color?
Patrick?
Me? Yeah. Like blue, black, red?
Blue or black.
Blue or black. All right.
I did
Excellent.
go through a phase of writing with red, and it's weird.
Yeah, red. What are you doing? You
I
know
know.
what I mean?
The only thing weird is that phase ended.
Well, I found an old journal of mine from when I was like a little kid. I must have been like 6, 7, or 8, and a lot of it was written in red ink. And one of the pages was just, it was something like, "I can't believe Dad ruined Christmas," something like that. Like I can't. I have no memory of like.
Please tell me you have that. Still.
I have it. I do have it.
I need you to photocopy that.
But
I want. You need to frame that.
It's like in big. Like
that
I had
is,
gone,
like it
I had
was
gone
anger.
over it a bunch of times. Yeah, it was like Dad ruined Christmas. Or
Do you remember what happened?
No, I have no idea. And then if you flip through the book, there's like pictures of like a lot of angry people. There's pictures of people holding knives. There's an actual picture of my family. My mom's on the couch crying. My dad looks angry.
Oh my God. Everything makes so much sense now.
I drew these when I was like 7 years old.
Oh, dude, I want to.
And it's all in red ink.
That should be on a T-shirt.
That is beautiful. We got to get that. We got to get that transposed. That could be the new logo for the show. Just Patrick's sad family. Friday at 420.
Family portrait.
If you're using red ink, you might as well just go kill a homeless person and get back to reality. You obviously have something to get off your chest.
Yeah.
All right. I got to get you guys off my chest. Hey, listen, it's nice to know that if a comic doesn't show, we can still carry the day. Guys, it's been a blast hanging out with you. Anything you want to say as we close things out and head into this beautiful long weekend?
My buddy Paul, he's sells houses. I've advertised him on this before. I can't remember his business or his last name right now, but if
please look up Paul.
Search
internet Paul selling houses.
I'm not giving you anything else. His name is Paul. He's my buddy. I talked to him today. We had a cigarette, and he told me like he'll give me $500 if he sells a house because of me. So
we need more information.
No,
we could actually make this happen.
No, contact me.
Oh, okay. Contact Manolis.
Contact me, and I'll give you his information.
All right, Paul, the realtor. Are you like thinking of selling a house or something, or buying a house, Manolis? Because last week we had a realtor guest on. This week we're plugging a realtor. What's going on, buddy?
Oh no, I am like my dad passed, and and that's why I was talking to this dude, because eventually he will be selling this house for me. Yeah.
Oh, so okay.
He's a good friend of mine, and
good dude.
But yeah.
All right. So if you need the realtor, Paul, you can get in touch with Manolis. If you have a place for Manolis to live, you also might want to get in touch with Manolis.
I'll sleep on couch. Any couch.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can stay there with Patrick at Levity.
I'll bring my own pens.
Patrick, is there anything you'd like to say as we close out this edition of the show?
I also have realtor friends, and I also don't know their names, but contact me and I'll get you their info.
Hey. No, contact me first.
Hey, listen, I'm going to sell one of Paul's houses too. We're going to have a contest. Whoever sells Paul's house first wins.
I will if someone contacts I keep forgetting that I can swear.
Yeah.
But if someone contacts Coppolino and they want Paul's number, I'll give you I'll let you have the $500.
All right.
Okay.
Somebody
they're gonna just for the me. I'm gonna have to get Paul's info from you.
Dude, I'll give you the info. I'll give you the info and let you keep the $500 just because it's hilarious.
Somebody, please call one of these guys and sell a house through Paul the realtor. All right, that's it. Thank you, fellas. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. And especially thank you to all the good people watching. We appreciate you checking out Friday at 420. Every Friday at 420, we live stream here on Facebook. And don't forget to go back to all the streaming services, any of the streaming services, to find old episodes of Friday at 420. We guarantee you're going to enjoy hanging out with us and our special guests when they show up even more. So thank you so much for watching. And until we get a chance to talk to you again in 7 days, have an awesome long weekend.